I'm good, guys. How are you?
Great. What are your expectations for Sunday? You talked to Kevin Seifert, not only about the team we cover, but the team he covers. What are you expecting out of this one?
Yeah, that's the problem with the Vikings and JJ McCarthy is I don't think you know what to expect. There's been moments where he's looked really good, and then probably more moments where it's been a little bit head-scratching, and then obviously he's had injuries as well. But, I mean, look at his interception numbers, Jason. I believe he's only started 5 games. He's got 8 interceptions, which is, I think, tied for 5th most in the league, but everybody on that list has played more games than he has. So, look, if they dropped interceptions last week, which obviously they did, 3, 4, 5, however many you want to count your drops.
6, 7.
Good one.
I stopped. They should get some chances this week, right? And they better get their hands on them and catch them.
Rob, the Vikings make a big mistake. They have a defense that's good enough to win. Yeah. They have great wideouts. They had opportunities to bring back old boy Jonesy, who's down with Indy. They had an opportunity to re-sign Darnold. They had an opportunity to bring Aaron Rodgers in. Opportunity, and it has not gone well. They trusted that the young guy could do it. He has proven that he has not. Do you think that they know that they made a mistake?
I mean, Tausch, I said all offseason that I thought it was a massive, massive gamble with that team and that roster going with a quarterback who has not played and you don't know if he can play and is coming off an injury. Like it's not just that he hadn't played at this level. It's that he was hurt too. Like, I mean, I don't think they did a very good job protecting themselves against the possibility that JJ McCarthy either is hurt or stinks.
And he's been both so far. Rob, and I hate it when we have to go through this with coaches, but there's this like uncomfortable conversation, and we had it with Hafley yesterday. Like, Tausch still can't get over. He's not a high snap guy when it comes to Rashan Gary. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen Tausch be more bemused by choice of words, but that's what Matt LaFleur said to you early in the week on Wednesday, and then Jeff Hafley didn't exactly dispel that. This is a $25 million.
Do they want him playing more snaps, Rob? Is he pulling himself out?
You know what this reminds me of, Tausch and Jason lived through a lot of this, or all of this as well. It was when Ted Thompson was general manager, and we asked him, well, why'd you keep 4 fullbacks? Well, that's just the way it worked out. Well, you're the one who made it work out that way.
Right.
I think it's a little bit of the same sort of bogus logic here. No, I don't think he's taking himself out at all. In fact, one of the things that Matt LaFleur said was in that answer was that also Kingsley Anagari, JJ they call him, has earned more playing time. Like, so,
right.
I mean, it's not, this is not an accident. Like, this is not one of those things where they got back on Sunday night or Monday morning, watched the film, looked at the snap counts and said, oh no, Rashan Gary only played 39 of 72 snaps. We've got to rectify that. No, it's not at all what was explained to us this week, which is incredibly baffling. And I know I said this I can't remember if it was on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy or KDN this week, but like to me, Micah Parsons' signing was supposed to make Rashan Gary into the playmaker star that everyone thought, or that the Packers thought and hoped that he would be. And for a minute it did, but lately, I don't want to say he's been exposed, but he kind of has been exposed.
Yeah, I don't fully understand. You're paying him. I thought it was more of he's tapping himself out. So you're telling me this is the coaches, because let's be honest, Micah Parsons wants to stay in there and play. He's going to play.
Yeah.
That is not the case with Rashan Gary. Rashan Gary can't wave a guy off because I'm telling you, the dogs wave guys off. He's not a wave-off guy. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. I mean, without being on the sideline, it's hard to tell, and it really is. Now, here's the thing. If Parsons is going to play, I don't know what it was last week, 80% of the snaps, or maybe it was more, give or take, the guys on the other side basically went 50-50 each. I mean, I think Enigbari was maybe 1 or 2 or 3 more snaps than Gary. Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. And obviously, it must be that they don't think, you know, he's producing. Look, the general manager and that side of the ball pays him. The coaches don't decide how much he makes. You know, coaches play a guy that they think is going to make plays. And if they played Enigbari more, they clearly thought Enigbari was either A, having a better game, or B, had a better chance of making a big play, or C, both.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of the answer that you got from LaFleur. That is the key part there. I mean, he doesn't want to flat out say it, but he's intimating it really strong. The guy, the 5th round pick who's in a contract year is better than the guy that we gave a $96 million contract to. That's what he's saying, even if he's not saying it in that plain
Guys,
English.
will that change even more so then when LVN, or is that going to be LVN will be playing somewhere different? And do you think Rashan snaps go down even more when he gets back?
You know, I think they use the cheetah package more, right, with LVN inside. And you know, Tausch, as well as anybody, that their whole MO is that when the guys come back, they're on a limited snap count anyway, and that's a rotational position anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if Lucas only plays 20, 25 snaps this week, assuming he's back this week.
And Rob, last one for me. Devonte Wyatt, is he banged up, or because he was – I'm telling you, I think that Cowboy game that is probably, outside of giving up some rushing yards against Carolina and last week, the second half when he was out was astonishing to see.
Yeah.
Is he just why have we not seen that production? Is it because he's working himself back, or what do you see from Devonte Wyatt since he's been back?
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, and Jason probably could back this or dispute this. Didn't the same thing sort of happen? Was it last year or his rookie?
Yes.
His rookie year, he finished strong, right? He didn't do much early and finished really strong. Or maybe that was year 2. I'm bad with the years now.
Last year was the ankle injury, and then he started strong, had the ankle injury, and then once he got back, he was just a guy.
Yeah, no, and the problem, Tausch, is that, I mean, when you traded away Kenny Clark, you needed that expecting that Devonte Wyatt was going to take the next step and become, close to what Kenny Clark has been year after year, season after season, and that has not happened. Here's the thing about guys coming off of injuries is they always say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm ready to play," and then after the season or the next season, when they look back, it's I pushed myself. I came back too early. I don't think you can know the truth of the matter until, we get through the whole body of work and the whole season and see where it ends up. But, I mean, if he's not, dealing still with injury, then it's a grave concern for a guy who's going to make a lot of money, and then you have to make a long-term decision on probably a year after that.
Talking with Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com. Speaking of snaps, and I haven't gotten to transcribe this conversation yet. I know you're looking forward to the transcript, but the conversation I had yesterday with Luke Musgrave, there's another guy, second-round pick. A lot of talk about him. Big opportunity with Tucker Kraft out. He is a pass-catching tight end who dropped 2 passes. How do you view his role in this offense currently?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, too, Jason, is unlike the Rashan Gary answer about, the other guys earn more snaps, and that's, sort of, and he's never been a high snap guy. LaFleur, in spite of what you just said, rightly so, if the problem's catching the ball and hanging on to the ball, Matt LaFleur said, we've got to get him more snaps, and I've already I believe it was your follow-up question. You're like, you guys talked about that to who? As a staff or to Luke? And he said, no, as a staff. We talked about we need to get him on the field more. It sure looked like maybe he was benched is hard to say because he still played sporadically. But, that's the opposite answer of Rashan Gary, which makes me think that, they still think that he can do some things, to help them. Now, maybe they have no other choice, and that, Don Fitzpatrick had a drop too, and,
Uh-oh.
It's a good one.
Lose our guy.
Oh, there he is. Nope.
I don't know if it's you've got to force feed the ball to Luke Musgrave or this is just what it's going to be.
I don't think anybody is clamoring to force feed the ball to Musgrave at this point.
Not even Luke Musgrave.
No, I think Luke's like, let me run some seam routes and we'll be all right.
Then throw it to him, right, Tausch? I mean, he's got skills like
get him some opportunities.
Like a receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Before we let you go, I know you got to get to Matt LaFleur. Last thing. We obviously talked with Josh Jacobs for a very long time yesterday.
Yeah.
He's debating whether or not it's the smart play to not play on Sunday, so he definitely can play on Thursday. What are you expecting there? I'm expecting him to be questionable. I love the absence of probable on the injury report.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, Jason. And, going back to what I said earlier about believing guys, what they say about injuries at the time, I'll break my own rule because I typically don't think players are either truthful or realistic about their injury situation. How many times do you hear a guy, I'm playing, and then he misses 3 weeks? I sort of believe Josh Jacobs in this case. Like, that if he doesn't play this week, he's definitely playing Thursday. So I sort of believe that. I guess I would probably err on the side that he's probably not going to play this week, but listening to him made me feel like, oh, yeah, he's going to play, and maybe I shouldn't be too swayed by that. But for some reason, I find Jacobs to be slightly more believable than some cases. I do think the quick turnaround to Thursday game makes it easier to either not play him or play him on an extremely limited basis. And look, Emmanuel Wilson, I forgot. Do you know how many yards Emmanuel Wilson rushed for last season?
500.
502, I believe. I looked at I couldn't believe it. Like, there were years, before Ryan Grant got here, or maybe even after Ryan Grant, there were years that the Packers' leading rusher in some seasons only had, 600 yards. So, Emmanuel Wilson, either I missed it or we aren't giving him enough credit, had a darn productive season last year. So,
he did.
I do think they can trust him to get them through a game or two.
All right, Rob, ask all the important questions, but do it more concisely than I would. Thanks.
I'll do my best. We'll be seeing you guys.
That is Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com. Matt LaFleur is scheduled to speak at the podium here in a little while. We'll let you know what he says of significance after that. We've got our Steinhoffel Sleepers of the Week coming up next.